Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nastapраyesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, titled The Opulence of the Absolute, and the verse number today is 23 on the 9th of March 2022. Rudranam Sankarashchashmi Vittesho Yaksarakshasham Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Sikharam Aham. Rudranam Sankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksarakshasham Vasunam Pavakaschasmi Meru Sikharam Nam Aham. Rudranam Sankarashchasmi Vittesho Yaksarakshasham Vasunam Bhavakaschasmi Meru Shikharinam Aham. Word by word meaning: Rudranam, of all the Rudras, Sankara, Lord Shiva, Cha, also, Asmi, I am, Vittaisha, the Lord of the treasury of the demigods, Yaksha Rakshasham, of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, Vasunam, of the Vasus, Pavaka, fire, Cha, also, Asmi, I am, Meru, Meru, Sikharanam, Sikharinam, of all mountains, Aham, I am. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of the wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Sankara, Lord Shiva, is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of the Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuvera, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is a representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 Hare Hare. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha of Bhagavad Gita discussion. Today we are discussing chapter 10, which is a continuation since yesterday, where 22 was covered. This chapter is dedicated to Krishna's opulence, the opulence of the Absolute. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Krishna, is absolute. And here in this chapter, Krishna's various different opulences are described by himself. So it is important for us to understand why is Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is explaining about his opulences. So there are two reasons, our Acharya says. First, Arjuna asked for it. Arjuna asked to Krishna to describe his opulences. That's the first thing. And second thing is, say for example, you are a manager in a company, or you are a architect in a company. So somebody asks you, who are you? You end up saying, I'm the manager of this bank. I'm an architect of this IT shop. So when you end up saying that, it appears that you are not humble. It appears that you're boasting. But hey, it's about you. Somebody asked for it. So here Krishna is being asked who he is, and with no lack of humility in that sense, Krishna is just explaining who he is, so that it is important for everyone, the entire population, to understand who Krishna is. So here Krishna is comparing himself with four aspects, and we're going to go into each of these aspects more deeply. So here Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, about of all the Rudras, Krishna is Lord Shiva. So when from Purna Purushottam Krishna, Karnadakshaya Vishnu came, and from his sports, universes came, and then from him, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu came, and from the navel, Brahma came in the tip of a lotus, and Brahmaji came through the stem of the lotus, and eventually, went into meditation and found out where he came from, and then he created um, he created the four Kumaras, and the four Kumaras he wanted to create so that he could lead the effort of creating the progeny in this world. But the four Kumaras were in the mood of jnana, um, and they wanted to acquire more and more transcendental knowledge. So they told their transcendental dad, were Brahmaji, that we are not going to create any progeny. So then Brahmaji got very upset with the four Kumaras, and from his anger tip of this middle portion of his head and the forehead, he with a big bulge of fire, he generated um, someone who would end up creating the progeny in the world. And from this fire, from Brahmaji's forehead, Rudra, or Lord Shiva, uh, got emanated, and then there was a huge sound. But in that context, Rudra started mixing with the pisachas, and the other extra personalities, the personalities who are often present, and he created progenies that did not go well with Brahmaji. Brahmaji didn't like it. He was creating the bhoots and pisachas, and then Brahmaji creating the nine rishis and Narad Muni, which we are now discussing in in Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning. So Lord Shiva in this context is actually coming from Brahmaji, and 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 these Rudras, who are often the they mix with the Bhut and Pisachas. Of all these Rudras, who are 11 in number, of all these Rudras, Lord Shiva is the topmost Rudra. Lord Shiva, we also celebrated Shivratri very recently. Lord Shiva is actually a greatest Vaishnava. He is always thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is always yearning for his mercy, and he is protecting all the dhams of the world. Wherever there is Lord Krishna, or a personality of Lord Krishna, uh, in the form of a deity or in the form of a dham, Lord Shiva is protecting that place. So here Krishna is saying, of the 11 Rudras, I am the topmost Rudra. So Lord Shiva is, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Lord Shiva is and Lord Krishna are like milk and curd. They all have come from milk, but with a little acid, curd has been formed. And so from milk you can get to curd, but from curd you can't come back to milk. So what that means is, Lord Shiva is a, a yuga avatar, or an incarnation sorry, Guna Avatar or incarnation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day is coming, so the Yuga Avatar is coming to my mind inadvertently. So Lord Shiva is the Guna Avatar who has come from Krishna, and and he is in the mood of Tamagun. So that means he is in the mode of ignorance. That doesn't mean he is any way inferior, if that is what is being understood by everybody. So I wanted to make sure, see, there are different schools and colleges, that's for education, and there are there are hotels and different establishments, and there are prisons where there are prisoners. For the upliftment of a society, all these aspects are very important. The importance of school has to be kept in mind, so money has to be spent there. The importance of the hospitality industry has to be kept in mind, and that is where money has to be spent there. And the importance of prisons has to be kept, money has to be spent there. So there's nothing. So if you really want to categorize that these are different departments under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the school often teaches the mode of goodness in the minds of students. The hospitality industry often takes care of the enjoyment of the citizens, and the prisoners are essentially have committed some mistake, and they are being uplifted in the prisons and jails. All are important in this context. So as guna avatars of Krishna, Vishnu, who by the mercy of Krishna has taken up a role to take care of the mode of goodness, the mode of maintaining this cosmic manifestation. Then Brahmaji, in the mode of passion, is creating progenis through different, you know, um, personalities we discussed about. And likewise, Lord Shiva is taking care of all the tamagunis in that sense. So there's no up and down in the context of Gunavatars. So Lord Shiva, as we discussed, is actually a Gunavatar, and he is a greatest devotee of the Lord. So when we want to discuss about this, often people will ask us, these are ISKCON, they're Krishna consciousness people. So that's why they're saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And, I like, um, uh, Murugan, I like, Lord Shiva. So for me, Murugan is number one. Lord Shiva is number one. It's not like that, actually. So it's not a question of whether you like someone and he is the number one. It's a question of going by the scriptures. So Krishna in chapter 10, we just went through it a few days back. Krishna says, Aham sarvascha prabhavo, matta sarvam pravattate, iti matva bhajantema, buddha bhava samanvita. That means Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from Krishna. The wise who perfectly know this knowledge in my devotional, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So there is no I like some supreme personality of Godhead, he is Bhagavan for me, and someone else is Bhagavan from someone else. It's not like that. There's one Bhagavan, and that Bhagavan, as mentioned in the scriptures, from which everything emanates, Aham Sarvascha Prabhavo, is Krishna himself. So Krishna is creating, but through, so he is actually a source of all personalities, all avatars. So he's like avatari. So from Krishna, different personalities emanate. And there are six kind of incarnations we talked about. There is Guna avatar, there is Lila avatar, and there are six such kinds of avatars. Of the Guna avatars, Lord Shiva, who is Sankar, he is the topmost among the Rudras. So Krishna is saying, of all the Rudras, of the 11 Rudras who are very powerful, who are often taking care of the tamogunis in this world. So it is often mentioned, people who are really, going high with all this, weed and all. They think, we are the greatest bhaktas of Lord Shiva, and they have the sense of ignorance that by doing that, by doing no detachment from these kind of things, they are actually friendly with Shiva, but that's actually a misnomer. So Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Vaishnavanam Yatha Sambhu. Like Ganga is the topmost among the rivers, likewise, Lord Shiva is the topmost among Vaishnavas. He is protecting the dhams. Wherever there is dham in the form of, in Jagannath Puri, he is there as Loknath. He is in Nandagram, he is there as Nandeshwar. He is uh, among gopis in Vrindavan, he's there as Gopeshwar, and uh, he's there everywhere actually, yeah, as the protector of the dham. So Krishna is saying, of all these Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. And then he goes on to say that of Yakshas and Rakshasas, the topmost is Kuvera. Kuvera is the greatest CFO of this entire cosmic manifestation. So he is taking care of all the wealth. And with wealth, people get puffed up. So he had two sons, Manigriva and Nalakuvera. And they were not being very respectful to Narad Muni when they were taking bath in a river, and because of their inappropriate um, behavior, Narad Muni wanted to deliver them. So if you, and he went on to say that, hey, Manigriva and Alakavera, if you're truly exposing yourself in a very inappropriate manner, then so be it, you become a tree. And these two personalities, they took the birth as a tree in Yashoda Mai's courtyard, and Lord Krishna, through the through the motor, curd churning motor, um, uh, Makhan churning motor, had to go through those two trees we discussed during October and November, on the day of Diwali, when this thing happened, when this pastime happened. And then when he entangled his motor, then these two trees, who were in prior birth, Manigriva and Alakubera, the son of Kuvera in this context, the topmost among the Yakshas and Rakshasas, the trees got uprooted. And from there, two beautiful personalities came out. And you all know about that Damodar pastime. So, to put some context around, Kuvera is the topmost among Yakshas and Rakshasas. And Krishna is comparing that of all these potencies, because Kuvera is taking care of the department of managing the finances, and he is under the jurisdiction of a CEO who is a supreme personality of Godhead himself. And Krishna goes on to say about the Vasus. There are 8 Vasus. These Vasus are often, people who people resort to in trying to acquire wealth and and fame. So Krishna goes on to say that whenever there are sacrifices, the importance of Agni is always taken care. And Agni Dev is, through the ahutis, these offerings reach the 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 demigods and the supreme personality of God, and henceforth. So of all the Vasus, Krishna is saying he is Agni. And of all the mountains, Krishna is saying he is Meru. So when the Samudra Manthan happened, they wanted a thing which can be used as a center point, and the center point had to be used around, a rope has to go around the center point. And so they are looking for a a huge mountain which embodies the topmost potency. And Meru, Mountain Meru, had to come in and Lord had to get Mountain Meru as the center point to churn, and Vasuki, the snake, was used as a rope, and still Meru was unstable. So, so in order to stabilize Meru, Lord had to come as a tortoise with strong hard back to kind of stabilize Meru, so that Meru can be churned around with Vasuki, and from there nectar came out. And if you see that pastime, Lord's hand is in everywhere. If you really want to recognize a pastime of the Lord where you can't do anything without the Lord, you can't walk without the Lord, you can't step out, you can't eat, your muscles will not work if you go into some form of ailments. So the the reliance on the lordships becomes very strong when you look at that pastime. Tortoise, Lord as a tortoise had to come, Lord as Ajita had to come, and Lord had to intermediate, and finally Lord had to come as to distribute the nectar. So Lord's hand in that pastime is there in 8 or 9 instances. We can go into that pastime sometime else, but to put some context around Mountain Meru, Meru had to be brought up there, around which Samudra Manthan happened. And Lord is saying, I am that Meru. So you see these personalities: Lord Shiva, topmost Vaishnava; Kubera, the topmost financier; Vasu, in the form of getting wealth and all these external material things, they are topmost. And of all the mountains, which gets us the rain and nutrition, trees, and the environment, Lord is Meru. And even after saying all of that, Lord is going on to say that this is just a fraction of me. Lord goes on to say, Athava bahunaitena kim jnane tatavarjuna vistabhyam ida krishnam ekam seno sthito jagat. Ekam seno. That means just a single fragment of mine is actually taking care of the cosmic creation. So all this creation, what we think has come from Krishna, is just a fraction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all this, what is being explained, the opulence of the Absolute, is actually a very small portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is so infinite that ekam steno sthito jagat, this universe, a little percentage of Lord's creation is through this cosmic manifestation. And we think by virtue of our little, capability, we know everything. So that aspect, so more and more we know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you realize how less and less you are. The more you know, you realize how much you don't know. So it is very important for all of us to focus on this opulence chapter, opulence of the Absolute, that Lord is so infinite. Lord has so much of capabilities. Lord has so much of material capabilities in the form of Rudras and Kuveras and Vasus, and the environmental capabilities in the form of the mountain Meru, that we are so insignificant. The more we give importance, see, when we're kids, you go through a bridge, the bridge used to look very big actually. Now you become 40, 50, 60 years old, and you go around those bridges, they don't look all that big. So when you are small, things were looking really big, because you had you didn't have the ahankar, you didn't have the puffedness. But as you started knowing about cantilever beams and things like that, you thought this can be turned around by a civil engineer who is in me. That's not true, because Lord's creation, more and more we recognize the infiniteness, the greatness of Lord's creation. We become infinitesimally smaller and smaller and smaller. And that is the best way to get Lord's mercy, because of all the people in front of the Lord, Lord has the greatest eye for the person who is fallen. That's the reason why in this age of Kali, we have the greatest advantage. We are so fallen that we have the greatest advantage. We don't have to, do so many things. We don't have to do any fire sacrifices. We don't have to do so many things. We just have to take Lord's name, and that is enough for us to get Lord's attention. So it is important to recognize that we are so infinitesimally small in comparison to the Lord, and Lord is so powerful with all these capabilities, all this, huge, powerful, fiery personalities like Rudra and Vasus, full of wealth. So no one in this world is more richer than Kuvera. No one is bigger in terms of a mountain when it compares to Meru. So Lord is giving all this importance to ascertain some of the capabilities which he possesses, and it instills that element of our appreciation for Lord's opulence. So this verse, when you think about, you should think about how to appreciate Lord's opulence. When you appreciate Lord's opulence, you appreciate Lord's devotees' opulence. And the greatest devotees appearance day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Yuga avatar, he came to this world to spread the holy name. His appearance day is coming. So he came just to showcase that you can achieve the, the love for Godhead by being a devotee, by being a servant of a servant of a servant. So in order to instill that element of humility in us, Lord has to come, because at the end, Lord said, Mamekam Saranam Raja. He said, surrender unto me, but he didn't tell how to surrender. For that to happen, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago had to come. His appearance day is coming within a week. So we appreciate Lord's opulence through all these great qualities, and at the same time with the humility in trying to appreciate Lord's opulence and Lord's devotees' opulence. Lord is very pleased when his devotees are pleased. Lord is not pleased when his devotees are not pleased. So we should make all our attempt to please the Lord and his devotees, then Lord will be pleased. If we end up just pleasing the Lord and not taking care of the devotees, we are probably in the Kanishta Adhikari platform, which we discussed some time back. So in order to really usher our um, our desire and progress in bhakti, more and more we see Lord in his devotees. When we transcend to Madhyamadhikari, then we end up seeing the Lord in everyone, in every personality, whether it is he's a devotee or a non-devotee. Then we tend to transcend to Uttamadhikari. So, so this is a yardstick. This is a sloka. This is a verse where we can take a leaf on how to appreciate Lord's opulence. If we can't appreciate Lord's opulence, we'll never have an element of thought process to surrender. Our Krishna consciousness is all about surrendering. And if we do not have a taste for surrendering, we are probably not making progress. And here, these powerful verses where Lord is comparing himself, not with any puffed upness. He is the CEO of the entire cosmic manifestation, and he is just expressing that when he's asked. He's not just saying just like that to anybody. He's just saying when Arjuna is being asked. So with that, like to end here, like to open up for some discussions on how to really usher that element of humility in us so that we appreciate Lord's opulence. So with that, any comments, questions, reflections? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question for the, like you said, Lord Brahma takes care of the mode of passion and Lord Shiva takes care of mode of ignorance. So what does it mean? I mean, how do they take care of it? What does it imply?
they are the guna avatars of the Lord. So whenever we talk about Trimurti, right, Brahma, Vishnu, Vishwar, they talk about the the guna avatars of the Lord. So there are three gunas, as you know: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So in terms of procreation, which is compared here as mode of passion in the form of, see, he is being dispatched by the Lord to create this universe. He is the first person who came from the navel of Garvadaksha Vishnu, and then he went on to create this. So in that context, he is the uh, he's actually imbibing that element of passion in this form of creating this universe, constructing the universe, and so on. And likewise, Lord Shiva, he is identified to annihilate the universe. So this world we are living in is constantly being created and annihilated. So in this context, um, the tamogunis, for example, the bhoot and pret, who are essentially are present in the universe, are looked upon by a personality, a department. So these are departments which are created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to take care of certain roles and responsibilities. So Brahmaji, in this context, is going out creating the Kumaras, the Rudra, and then finally the nine rishis and Narad Muni, who epitomized bhakti. So from these nine rishis, Atri and all, there are kids of theirs who are subsequently Swayambhu Manu came from them, and from Swayambhu Manu and Satrupa, different personalities were born. We are essentially kids of Swayambhu Manu, and in that sense, so in that sense, Lord Brahmaji is embodying that element of um, construction of this universe. Likewise, when this universe got created and there is this Bhoot and Pret who are often led by Lord Shiva or Rudra, then for annihilating, for destroying the universe so that the universe can be recreated, Lord Shiva is given that responsibility. So in that context, these are personalities who are leading certain departments. Does that help, Mataji?
Yeah, Prabhuji, little bit, but what is not clear to me is like Lord Shiva, like he is, though he was entitled the task of destruction, but how is that an ignorance, mode of ignorance?
Yes. So these personalities, right? There are different kinds of people in this universe who end up having a affinity for certain higher individuals. For example, there are people who are in the mode of ignorance, like the personalities I was just referring to, and they have a affinity towards Lord Shiva, even if Lord Shiva is always meditating in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they relate to, because Lord Shiva is in Kailash, he's always, he has ash around it. So when, and he is wearing, very basic clothes. He is not in a very proper attire in that sense. So his external appearance, if you think about it, he's putting ash in his body, he's putting a skin around his waist, and he has got a snake around his neck, and he's drinking the poison. So these are the attributes, from external standpoint. Definitely Lord Shiva is a topmost Vaishnava. For us, we are not supposed to undermine the importance of Lord Shiva, because through his mercy only we can go up in our process of bhakti. But in the general context, in the sense that his appearance, his mixing with absolute, then and there are a lot of pastimes which can conform to this. For example, Bhasmasur, anybody who his name, Lord Shiva is Asutosh. So whenever people need something, they look for benediction from Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva often, without a lot of thought process, um, it's a lila actually, if you think about it, to glorify the Lord. He goes on to give the boon to various different personalities, like Vasmasur, for example. Vasmasur asked that whoever, he wanted a boon to live forever, and he didn't get it anywhere. So he went and asked Lord Shiva for the boon. Finally, Lord Shiva, looking at his austerity, gave him the boon. But the first thing Vasmasur did was to apply that boon on Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva gave the boon that whoever you touch in his head, he will be totally turned into ashes. So Vasmasur started putting his hand in the head of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva had to run around to really ask for help from Lord Vishnu. So in that context, Mataji, Lord Shiva has portrayed the Leela aspect of it, has portrayed the mode of ignorance. However, Lord Shiva is a very dear devotee of the Lord. So it's the Leelas which makes it into these categories based on how our acharyas have mentioned about the guna avatars. Was it better, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, that helps. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Any comments, any other reflection? Doesn't have to be a question all the time. You all can chime in, because this is a very, very powerful verse. We have to start appreciating more and more and be humble. Once we appreciate others more and more, glorify others more and more, like Lord is portraying, and we appreciate, we inculcate the habit of humility in us, and we glorify a Vaishnava. So all of you can comment or reflect on how this verse might influence you in any form or shape. If there is none, we can wind up, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Still, there are a lot of time. So, dear devotees, please have some questions, comments, concerns, any realizations, discussions. It's a wonderful time. It's an association of devotees. We all can discuss the transcendental topics. It's not related to today's class. Anything you would like to ask about spiritual topics always helps. Let's go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, I have a observation and a question. So the observation is, Mataji said Lord Shiva and the mode of ignorance. So Shiva is of course the topmost Vaishnava, and just the very definition of a Vaishnava is someone who is in perfect knowledge. That's what a Vaishnava is. And this is like what Hemajaganath Prabhu you mentioned. It is like a Leela or a role. And if we see that there are the three Murti, that is Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. So quite some time back, my grandma had explained Lord, these three Murtis. Like, to create something is difficult. To destroy something is very easy. It's easier to destroy something than to create. But the most difficult is maintaining something and sustaining something. And she gave the example of a child. So a child, to procreate a child is not very difficult. To really neglect the child and destroy that child's future is very easy. You just have to be neglectful and don't care. But actually to maintain the child, and the person who maintains is greater than the person who creates, is greater than the person who destroys. But this is not to say that Lord Shiva has got the inferior task, so to say. It is the Leela, what Hemajaganath Prabhu you were mentioning, that he's performing. That is his role or his function. So that was the observation. And the question which I have is, now we have Lord Shiva as the predominant of the Rudras. And during the time of destruction, there's also the very famous, he does his thunder dance, and then everything gets destroyed. So also I have read that all the Rudras are involved in the destruction. Now, is it that all 12 of them simultaneously are destroying the cosmos? Or is it that each particular Rudra for a particular period is responsible? That's the clarification. If you or Simeshwar Prabhu or someone has some idea, could please share.
Yeah, good question, bro. In terms of the 12 Rudras who got created from Brahma, the question is, your question is, are all the Rudras participating simultaneously in the in the in the destruction process? It's a good question. I don't want to speculate. Anybody wants to comment? It's a good question, though. I didn't know about that.
Well, what I understood is the potency of Lord Shiva. The basically what happens when the annihilation happens. There are four kinds of annihilations primarily. Then the kalpa, right? At the end of the day, there is also a partial devastation. So where it starts, actually, it starts from the Anandashesh, from the mouth of the Anandashesh, Lord Sankarsana and Anandashesh mouth. The fire comes, and also Lord Shiva is also, in one sense, of the expansions of Sankarsana or the potency of Sankarsana. Get the understanding, get the signal that it's time for devastation. That's the time Lord Shiva wakes up from the meditation and start to dance. So these 11 Rudras I mean, that's a basic. There are 11,000 Rudras. There are many Rudras, not only that 11. There are many. There are innumerable, actually, in one sense. They all actually start to, awake and start to dance. So from their eyes also, that's the third eye. That's the time it's open. It says that it's open, that eyes, and the fire and the potency that spreads all around the universe and start to burn everything out up to the heavenly planets, So then there is so much of heat which generates, and that because of the heat everything is burns up, and then after some time then there is a pralaya and all those up to the kalpa and mahakalpa. All these are happening. So when we say Rudras, 11 Rudras, they all actually not individually go and destroy it, not like that. The potency itself that it generates from their eyes and their body itself good enough to destroy everything. Yeah, that's my understanding, Prabhuji.
So, Prabhuji, if I can follow up with for more clarification,
Yeah.
Like each universe has super soul, correct? So there's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then
Yes.
there's Shirodakshaya, and that
Yes.
Shirodakshaya is the super soul of that particular universe, and
Yes.
also with all the entities living in that universe as Paramatma, correct?
Yes.
Now there are innumerable universes.
Yeah.
Right, and then we hear from that Brahma Vimohan Leela also that our Brahma has 4 heads, but
Yeah.
there are Brahma with hundreds and thousands of heads, depending on the size of universe that they create and manage. So like this, similarly, to your point, which you mentioned that there are countless Rudras, is that each universe also would be having the same Shiva and 11 other Rudras, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. That's correct.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
when the destruction happens, they all begin their dance.
They all begin their dance. That's
And
what is
that
exactly.
particular university, that universe
Yes.
get
Yep.
annihilated. Okay.
Exactly. So that's what is exactly happened. Remember that, in the morning Bhagavatam class, when Rudra, being created, and then 11 Rudra's expansions, they all started to dance, and that's time universe is when they started with that potency, even universe has started to tremble. That's the time Brahma is, kind of agitated and requested them to sit somewhere, sit somewhere and go and meditate on the Supreme Lord. That's where they are actually went into the forest and they started to meditate upon the Supreme Lord. And it says that they were innumerable actually that time. I mean, there are innumerable expansions of it, of the Rudras. I mean, there's such a potency that you all can. And the concept of the Shiva is in the meditational form. When they are on the Raudra, and then they are on the Tandava, they are considered as the Rudra. That's why initially Rudra manifested, because from the anger, and they started to dance into that Rudra bhav. But that same Rudra sit on and meditate upon the Supreme is called Shiva. Shiva means, literal Sanskrit meaning of Shiva means is all auspiciousness. So when Shiva sit and meditate upon the Supreme Lord, it's all auspiciousness. And that's the Shiva which gives the boon, Ashutosh, and many other names. His potency is there, and Shiva is also as equal as Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yes, also another thing, and when we say super soul, I think this is also another concept that everybody thinks that the super soul in each. Yes, super soul is there in each and every living entity. But that same super soul only, that Siddhodaksha Vishnu is manifested. Only one super soul, not many super soul.
Expansions, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, same super soul, and he is manifesting in various, in living entities, and he knows everything. The super soul knows everything in every living entity. So Atma is localized. See the difference? Atma is localized. That means we only know what is happening within our body. But super soul knows everything happens in every living entity. It's because of that same super soul is one, and he expands or he manifests in each and every living entity.
Prabhuji, then what that means is whatever living entity is present, they have one super soul, and so the relationship of each soul with the super soul is the same, or it's one and different both.
It's one and different, right? Because of when super soul is with me, that it's personal, right? So like Krishna, 16,108 gopis, right? Krishna is replicating himself. He is same Krishna, but he is there with everyone. In the millions of, when the residence happens, there are millions of 630 millions of copies. Krishna is with each and every one of them, but same Krishna, right? So likes that. So then what they feel, each when Krishna goes with each and every one of the gopi, they feel that Krishna is only with me. Krishna is only interacting with me. That personal relationship is only with me. But Krishna is there in each and every living entity, each and every gopi. This is the affluence. This is the greatness of Krishna. So likes that. Super soul is also, we feel that Krishna is with me. That's why this, when we serve Krishna, when we worship Krishna, there are innumerable living entities worship Krishna at the same time, but we feel that Krishna is only with me, right? That the super soul with Krishna. Yes, that is true. That is personal. Krishna makes available to each and every one of the living entity. Is it clear, or is it?
No, it's clear, Prabhu. And also, I was thinking that the super soul in me or any other living entity, they are all related, and so therefore we all are related, right?
Oh, yeah, of course, yes. We are all related. We are all part and parts. We are all the same. That's why there should not be any difference. Krishna says that, right? Because so we should see Krishna in everything, because the Atma is also part of Krishna. So we should see Krishna in everything. There is no discrimination. There is, because of each and every living entity is related. Same part, same, potency, spiritual potency, and
So
different.
then, why do we have all these discrimination and war and hatred?
Yeah, because of that is our ego. That's our, material qualities, not the spiritual qualities. So when we see everybody equally, this is a spiritual quality. Spirit soul, each and every living entity, spirit soul. Vidya vinaya sambanne brahmane gevi hastine. Supeka jasuni chaiva pandita samadarshanaha. You see everything equal. But the apandita, or those who are, less intelligent, or those who are egoistic, so they start to discriminate everything based on his a relative, right? If I have something, if I am a president, if I am the leader of a country, so I have some certain discrimination and power and authority, so I can do anything I want. These are all comes from ego. These are all material qualities. So
Okay.
yeah,
So that means that the localized soul is then disconnecting with their relation with the
exactly.
Paramatma, and
Exactly.
therefore
Yeah,
this material layer is taking effect
definitely.
more than.
More and more and more.
Okay. Okay.
Then what happens? The soul subdue. That's why, it's like a fire covered by, when there is not enough heat, right? When there is not enough heat, so what happens? Then it covers more ashes and more ashes and more ashes, right? Then at the middle or at the deep inside, there may be little fire like that, but it's a fire, right? But when the fire ignites, or fire is when we start to give some more air and fan it, then what happens is fire comes out. Otherwise what happens is completely covered with this ashes of material qualities. So that's called, it's actually dormant, right? The spirit soul is, in most of the cases, is dormant. It's covered by our own material impurities and qualities. That's why each living entity is considered like people are in the mode of ignorance, the same mode of goodness and the passion. They all act accordingly. And why? Because of these are the layers of impurities which covers, or material qualities which covers the spirit soul. So then we have to ignite nicely. So like Srila Prabhupada mentioned that a fruit when fruit is really ripened, no need of anything, right? Automatically it's actually disconnect from the material world or from that tree, right? When it is kacha, when it is raw, when it's so thick and it is not ripened, so what happens is still with the branch of the tree, but it's ripened, then automatically it's disconnect itself. No need of anybody else. Itself disconnect from the branch of the tree. It's like that. When we spiritualize, when we ripened enough, then automatically we disconnect from this material attachment and the world, and then we will automatically attain Krishna. So this is the process. This is a journey of the process to remove all our impurities and the dirtiness, and you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chado Darpanama, we have to clean, this. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Meaning we are so dirty.
Yeah.
It means that we are so
Yes, we are all.
dirty.
Every living entity, like we have ego, we have serious degrees of ego. We have lust, we have greed, we have anger, we have envy, we have illusion, we have arrogance, so many ways. I mean, this is whatever our life is, summum bonum of thousands of millions of lifetimes of karma, sins, activities, everything. That's what is we are right now. The summum bonum of all our thousands of millions of lifetimes of whatever it is. Yes, we did some good and pious activities, karma. That's what we are able to hear and understand this science, the spiritual science. But there are people, even if in the outside of, if we just say about all this, they say, what is this? All nonsense. There is no God. There is nothing, this is my life. This is me, that, all the, so they come and they suffer. And, so many people in this world, like war. There are so many calamities and the war, and people are suffering, and 2 million people fled the one country to another, and so many people. Why it is all happening? These are the summum bonum of what we are accumulating each and every lifetime. And then, we have to go through whatever the conditions we are. Some are good, some are bad, some are things like that. Why? Because we are in the total summum bonum of whatever the activities we did in the past, and that's what we are right now. So, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that by the holy name, by the loving devotion service, you have to clean everything. We have to come out of it. Unless and until, there is a proverb like this. Unless and until we cross over the 6 steps of these material qualities, we cannot see the Lord. We cannot enter into the kingdom of God. What are that 6 steps? These are called 6 anarthas. Why it is called anarthas? That is what is in the last: greed, anger, envy, illusion and arrogance. So unless and until we come out of it, and where it's all come from? Ego. Ego is the last slayer of, that one can, if one is free from the false ego, ahangar, I, me, myself, mine, everything is surrounded by this I. Anything like, likes or dislikes, happiness, everything is surrounded by this I. That I is actually the which is separating from the Lord, that I. The moment we say we are not I, we are not separate from Krishna, but we are part of Krishna, we are eternally servant of Krishna, we are eternally related with Krishna, and we are eternally be with Krishna. That's our original constitution and the nature. And then we practice, we apply that, selfless activities. But what we do, that anything we do, it's selfish activity. What I'm going to get, that's what we are all looking for it. Name, fame, pradishta, wealth, beauty, everything. Right? Because where it's come from? All come from our ego. I want to be great. I want to be that. I want to be this. I want to be this. I want to be this one. My children, my family, my country, my house. This where is come from? Me. Okay, me. It's for me. This world is for me. This car is for me. This house is for me. This everything is for me. So it's all I, me, myself. This is the world. Everybody's world is that. So only by this process of bhakti, devotion, that we can understand, where I stand now, how much I am more, this attached. I, me, myself, all means that we are bound or we are attached to this world. So the moment we understand that, I am so, yes, I, myself, me, this is called ahangar, aham, right? This is called I-ness or selfishness, or means ahamkar. Ahangar means the selfish attitude. Everything is selfish attitude. Even if we do something, first thing, we're thinking, what I'm going to get out of it. Even if we chant, okay, I'm chanting, so we have this ego of that I'm chanting so much rounds. Somebody, come with that fasting, oh, Proji, I did a fasting. I was nirjala, I was doing this fasting. Oh, I did this one, I did that one. I was serving the Lord, I was serving the devotees. I was doing this, I was doing that service, I'm doing this service. We will have endless list of service we do every day. Where is come from? Ego. Is selfish. But, we do service, we don't talk to anyone, we just serve Krishna. We just go and do the service sincerely and purely and, unconditionally, and chant the holy name, not to show off or not to tell to anyone that I'm chanting this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. So this is the last layer of snare of that our ego. Even if, we are in the devotional, what is called the plane, but still, unless and until we come out of this ego, that it takes long, years. As it purifies, chanting purifies, but it takes long years. That's why we understand this, knowledge, transcendental knowledge, so that we can apply it in our life and apply the devotional service. Since that's called loving devotion service.
Mm.
So
So,
when we,
Prabhuji, when we have any reversal, let's say if the super soul is same and the interactions that we have or with circumstances or situations or people or whatever reversals come in one's path of devotional service or life in itself, how do we um, understand this in terms of let's say if one is practicing and the other situation or person or circumstance is completely unaware of what this process is, and so how do the one who is following or practicing interface with that sort of a reversal?
I mean, I'm trying to understand your question. So that's, you are saying that one devotee is practicing, he's a sadhaka, he's chanting, he's in devotional service. There are some other people, they don't know anything about this one, right?
They
And
don't know, they know, or they don't respect, or let's say a circumstance is such that you have to sort of be in that
deal with it.
situation and deal, and
Yeah.
how do we interface? We just
Yeah.
accept saying that we are egoless and selfless, and because this is my ego that I have to correct, and that's
Oh,
why
I
I'm
see.
placed in such a
I
reversal.
see. See, in the material world, yes, there are, we are talking about the spiritual plane or the spiritual, spiritual layer of, or spiritual understanding, right? Spiritual terms, that's what it is. So suppose there is a person, he does not know anything about, and okay, now we have to correct if something is, yes, that is the duty of a spiritual master. See the concept of spiritual master, why there is a spiritual master. And spiritual master is not just only one person or Diksha Guru or something. There are Shiksha Gurus, there is Pada Pradakshina Gurus, they are all considered as Gurus. There are Gurus, there are Acharyas, there are many Gurus like Acharyas, there are Gurus, and there are, I think, couple more varieties of, Acharyas and Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Pada Pradakshina Guru, Acharyas, and so many kinds of. So they all have this responsibility to correct in terms of what? Not on the material level platforms. A real guru or real spiritual master, a real person, a real devotee, he always tries to bring everybody in Krishna consciousness, or make them understand the importance of the spiritual practice, or what is really needed for each and every living entity. Otherwise, what is happening? That's why, there is a prayer. Adhyana timirandasya jnananjana salagaya chakshurumildam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, Adhyana timirandasya, so one who is actually relieving from the darkness of this material world. If there is no light, the Supreme Lord is in the, Jesus is like a sun. So spiritual master is shedding the light in the darkness or the Timiranda. We are all affected by this deep darkness. Spiritual master and other devotees, those who are knowledgeable, so they know about the science of and spiritual science. They shed this light to the ignorant so that they will come out of it. So yes, it is not ego. It is actually, it's a duty. So everybody has a dharma. Right? This is why there is karma, there is dharma, there is responsibilities, and it always says that there are three categories of people, even in devotee community. There is Kanishta Adhikari, there is Madhyama Adhikari, and there is a Uttama Adhikari. Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari should always educate the Kanishta Adhikari. And Kanishta Adhikari's responsibility and duty is that always seek knowledge from the Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. and likes that. A Madhyama Adhikari always should seek the knowledge from the Uttama Adhikari, and Madhyama Adhikari always gives the knowledge to the Kanishta Adhikari or the neophyte devotees. And even Srila Prabhupada says that one who chants the holy name, one who is understood the science of Bhagavad Gita, basically it is a basic ABCD of the spirituality, should be able to give this knowledge to everyone. That's why Srila Prabhupada enthused each and every devotee and should go and preach in the London. I mean, they had the mercy of gurus, and all they had nothing but they just joined the temple for 1 year. I mean, we know that 6 devotees went to London, and that's why we know that how they started. Yes. So when the spiritual master, so the mercy of spiritual master, that's why before we start, we are all represents Srila Prabhupada. So we are not really taking us, that we are taking our ego that I'm a spiritual master or I'm a teacher, I am good into that. No. We are all actually representing Srila Prabhupada, and whatever Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and the purport and the scriptures, the devotee is just repeating that. It's like a parrot. So then there is no point of ego, right? So this is the instruction. So we get the instructions, so we have to follow the instructions. We get the instructions from the Supreme Lord, we have to follow that. So it is not an ego. It is a duty, and it is we are following the footsteps of the spiritual masters. So in that context, yes, if there is somebody that they're looking for it, we should give. We should give. That's why we go for book distribution. We talk to the people. We distribute the books. We go and preach, because of this is the orders of our spiritual master and Krishna. Give this knowledge to the others. So when there is a person is there, yes, but if you start to act in such a way that, I have that ego, I'm a so good speaker, I'm good teacher, I'm good book distributor, I'm good into that, because of me all this happening, even in our ISKCON society, Srila Prabhupada, even spiritual masters, even initiated sannyasis, Srila Prabhupada had to cut down the kind of various kind of situations where sometimes devotees even take everything in their hand. Oh, I am doing everything. If I am not there, center will not be there. If I am not there, people will suffer. If I am not there, things will not go well. If I am not there, ISKCON will fall down. It's kind of attitude. Right? So Srila Prabhupada many times actually kind of curtailed those kinds of attitude with many devotees. So yeah, when devotees doesn't understand this science and taking it everything in their heart that okay, me and myself, ego, then what happened? That is the wrong thing. That's ego. But if you follow instructions of spiritual master, guru, and we sincerely execute the devotional service for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga and Krishna, then there is no question of things like that. Otherwise, sometimes we have opposition. Say many times when we go for book distribution, some people come and challenge us. Some people come and so many things. So what we should sincerely and peacefully tolerate and certain things. Sometimes yes, we have to tolerate. So many things happen. Sometimes some people blaspheme us. Sometimes people use bad words. Sometimes people does not give that what is a devotional way of dealing things. Sometimes people get anger. So many things we have to go. It's not that even though we are into this Krishna consciousness, but there are still there are impurities out there we are all practicing. So then we have to understand that yes, there are situations you have to tolerate. And sometimes it tells us also that sometimes some people blaspheme the devotees. That time where we need to react, where we need to respond, this all we need to know. So where it all will come when we completely sincerely engage in the devotional service, is all will Krishna will give that kind of the capabilities to deal with, to tackle and to tolerate, and all those things, where to respond, where to react, where to indulge, where to keep quiet, where to be silent, where to talk, where not to talk. all this will come, eventually.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam to everyone, humble obeisances to everyone. My one question Prabhu, the Sumeru Parvat, it is mentioned various scripture. It is mentioned in various scriptures, but we cannot see that thing, right? So that Sumeru, can you talk about this? Where is the Sumeru Parvat? Where Sumeru things there? In fifth canto also mentions Sumeru, right? In Bhagavatam. So
Yeah.
can you please describe a little bit about it?
Sumeru, yes. Sumeru, and it's in the one of the Dhanvir Goswami Maharaj, the Vedic Cosmology. It's described Mount Sumeru is very nicely. It is mentioned that the entire universe is actually, there is an axle, or actually that it's kind of a mountain, right? The peak of the mountain is called Sumeru. I mean, Bhagavatam is mentioned that there are different directions of this also Sumeru. Sumeru is in the middle of the entire universe. And that's the topmost, that's why it's the Meru. Thus, I am the Meru. And one is actually in the axle, and which is in the peak, and which is the topmost, and like that. So it's like considered as a mountain. It's like a mount. That's a Mount Meru, and yeah, it's yes, it's not visible for us, but it's again, it's an axle of everything, and axle of this entire universe, and that is actually the Mount Meru.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for this description. But another thing, Prabhu, I had, this is Dhruva planet, right? Dhruva planet. In the Vedic planetarium, they are putting that Dhruva planet is the topmost planet, and that on around that planet, everything is rotating.
Yeah.
So can you describe about that, and
Yeah.
what happened? And what happened after one kalpo and after 100 years of Brahma? Dhruva kalpo will be there or not?
Wonderful question, Raji. Very nice. So what happens, this is like a chandelier. Srila Prabhupada gives that's our Vedic planetarium is building upon the base. Srila Prabhupada gave a wonderful descriptions of it. Dhruva planet is actually the static, which doesn't move and which doesn't also annihilate. And this is the abode of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. We know that when Dhruva Maharaj meditated upon, Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom which is greater than his great-grandfather Brahma. Lord promised, and that was the intention of Dhruva Maharaj when Dhruva Maharaj went into the forest. Lord understood that, and Lord promised that he will come to my abode. So then 36,000 years Dhruva Maharaj ruled the planet, and then Nanda and Sunanda and the personal assistants of Lord Vishnu came down personally with the chariot, and then took the Dhruva Maharaj and the mother, Sunidhi and Suriji even. Suriji even and Sunidhi even took along with the Dhruva, and gave this planetary, this abode of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. That is the that is the Dhruva planet. That's on the topmost of entire universe, and that's where the Dhruva planet means it's a Kshirodakshaya. It's the abode of, it's a Vaikuntha lok. It's a Vaikuntha. So then when there is an annihilation, it doesn't annihilate. It's abode of Lord Vishnu. And that is where on the shore of this Vaikuntha planet even Brahma goes. Brahma cannot enter into those planets, but even Shiva, Brahma all goes to the shore of this Dhruva planet or Kshirodakshaya, where this, the abode of, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu.
Okay, wonderful, Prabhu. You give the right. So I had that question earlier, but other thing, Prabhu, after 100 years of Brahma, Dhruva planet will be there or not?
It will be there. Yes, it never annihilates. It's abode of Lord Vishnu. It's Vaikunta. It's another Vaikunta. It's Lord Vishnu. Dhruva is always there. It doesn't annihilate.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol, Dandavat Pranam.
Very well.
Dandavat to everyone.
So Lord promised, I will give you my abode. That's what it is. That's why when Dhruva went there, then it became known as Dhruva planet. Otherwise, it is a Vaikunta. It's a abode of Lord, Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Sorry. Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Yes, abode of Shirodakshaya Vishnu. And then remember that when Gajendra was in distress, and the Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, came that manifested from there, and this Shirodakshaya Vishnu is entire universe provided, each and every living entity. And this is that's the Dhruva planet. It is static, it doesn't move, it doesn't change, or it doesn't annihilate, or it doesn't do anything. This is completely, So Dhruva, because of his a pure devotee of the Lord, also get the liberation and staying in Dhruva planet, in the abode of Lord, Shirodakshaya Vishnu.
So thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful explanation. And quick question, Prabhu. Another question. Just 1 minute I'll take.
Please.
So Dhruva planet is the Vaikuntha planet. What about the Setadeep?
Yes, the same. That's called Swadadeep. It's a Shira. Shira means white milk, right? Swada means white.
Okay, got it.
It's called Swadadeep. It's called, Shirodakshaya. There's an ocean of milk. That's a Swadadeep. It's an island on the topmost of all this universe. And, Bhagavatam gives so much wonderful, descriptions of all these different various universes, even Prabhuji. And even you mentioned about the Mount Meru. Yes, Mount Meru is held by the Ananda Shesh, and and the top is reach up to the Dhruva planet, and then different directions and side there are different varshas, different lokas, and we will come to that in third canto. There is how these various planetary systems and what is on the topmost, how it is, and there is a planetary. There is a it's called, I forgot. It's a dwarf.
Prabhuji, is it Jambudeep?
Jambudeep is actually, yes, one deep is of one side of this Meru is the Jambudeep. There are different deeps, yes. Jambudeep is, that is what is actually, we are actually on the Jambudeep. Jambudeep, Bharatavarsha, and within that deep, Jambudeep, there is Bharatavarsha. There is 7 Varshas even there actually. Ilavradavarsha, Bharatavarsha, this all rotate like that. And then there is a deep which is mangoes, and it's Bhagavata explains so nicely, third and fourth cantos and all. And it is actually a deep which is full of gold, and so nice. And so many deeps actually is mentioned in Bhagavatam. These are all the different directions of the Mount Meru.
Yeah,
And
one is of yogurt, one is of
one is the
ghee,
yogurt,
mango, juice.
mangoes, juice.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Yes.
Prabhu, Meru is the mountain on which the sun god chariot's wheel is anchored, right? And it spins around.
Yeah, it spins around. Yes.
Meru, correct?
Yes, 16,000 miles per second. That's the sun's chariot is rolling around, and then spills on. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How it is described, Even there is a beautiful book, this Dhanvir Goswami Maharaj, the Vedic Cosmology, and Maharaj was mentioning that even sun is actually not like rotating actually. Sun is go like in a wavel shape like this, like goes one and come back, and then goes to the other directions and come back. It's like a waveform, like what we say call it as. That's what is we see that 4 itrus, 4 seasons. So go and come back, and then one side, one directions. It's like it's rolling like this. I don't know how It's rolling like this, the sun, and then go like this and then come back. Then it goes to the other directions and then come back like this. Like that. So then we'll go. This is a Bhagavatam understanding of the Bhagavatam explains like that. We think that sun rotate like this in this kind of plane like that, right? But sun goes like this way in the same plane, and then it goes like that, and it comes like that. I mean, it's a lot of mystery, you know. It's needs to understand in that way. Yeah, it's quite interesting to know also, you know. And even the suns, you know, there are samvalsaras. There are 60 samvalsaras. I've heard about it. Samvalsara, 60 samvalsaras. And each has a name, and we were just going through like each samvalsara is actually like 5 years, like, you know, this is considered as a 5 group of, and each has a name of different devadas, and it's mentioned that from starting from 17 to 22nd 2022 is actually a samvalsara which was not good. There's lots of things are happened in this world because of that, ruled by that particular personality was not in the right what is called not like a punya graha, or like Baba is on all. That influence happened in this universe, in this earth especially. So it's that astrology is so nice. In Vedic astrology is so wonderful. Yeah, okay, very nice. It's very interesting, you know, to understand this, how each and every atom, each and every particle, how it is all constituted and constructed, how it's all directing, how it's all integrated, how it's all working together, what is the potential. It's so wonderful. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, let's have our book distribution call.
Prabhu, another question I have. Just 1 minute I'll take.
Okay, please go ahead.
So you just described the Bhagavan Shiva and Kala. Bhagavan Shiva's another name is Mahakal. So the Kala Bhagavan in Gita, Bhagavan told that time I am.
Yeah.
Kala.
Yeah.
So what is the relation between the Mahakal, Kala and Kala, this Kala? So there is any relationship?
Yeah, Mahakal or Mahakalpa is actually, that's a complete devastation project. Complete devastation. Everything goes back to the Supreme. Everything goes back. Even Brahma won't be there. This universe won't be there. This nothing won't be there. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
but Kal
yes.
is time. Time is always what is called a devouring. See, we consider time in the material sense, it's a relative. Like, you know, we put something there, like, you know, we put a watch, we make a machine, or, you know, in earlier time, they put some sand and, you know, put through that, how much sand goes there, they calculate. Some earlier days, you know, they see that, you know, the shadow of the sun, right? So accordingly, they say, okay, this is 8, you know, prahara, whatever, you know, this is all how, and even the Bhagavatam, like, you know, how the minute of the time is calculated, that a sun particle of the sun, right, which passes, that the light of the sun passes through an atom. We know that that is the base. So it's all relative, but actual kala or actual time factor or time means is actually a devouring potency of the Lord. Devouring means every minute, you know, that the cell, the maximum, even a bacteria lives for 10 seconds or 10 minutes. That's all, not more than that. Every minute, even our cells, within 7 years, our complete body changes because of all the cells which created is also completely died. So this is called devouring potency. That means anything which comes into this universe, it's also annihilating at the same time. That means birth happens, the death happens for so many things. There are living entities, they don't even see the next day. Just lives for 10 minutes, that's all. Even the basic bacteria or something like that, even in the open air. Something like that. So what is that devouring potency? That's called Kal. That's why we call Kala. Yamaraj we call Kal. Shiva we call Kal. You know, many other, living entities we also call Kal, because of he is the one who is moving things, moving, right? He is the potency, like anything which is in this world. That potency of that Kal, the devouring potency, will take everything, right? We cannot go back. I mean, if there is a birth, then immediately there is a death, because of that potency, that Kala Shakti. That Kala Shakti takes everything back, and he absorbs everything. So then when he absorbs everything, we say that there is a change. There is a change in this world. There is change in everything. There is people are changing. Body is growing and dying and changing. What is actually happening? That devouring potency, that, because of he is absorbing, and at the same time, he is also releasing, right? This is called Kala Shakti. So then we see that there is a change. Everything is moving. Everything is, revolving, rotating, and things are going further. And whatever is created now, it won't be there tomorrow. So we see that it's like a movie. What is actually happening? The theory of the movie, it's called persistence of vision. Persistence of vision means it's all slides. Movie is just like a slide. But because of we can have that, hold that image in our 7 seconds, we can hold that image in our eyes. So we see that it's continuous, it's flowing like that. So, but actually it is just the technique of the slides and the movie stills and the capacity of our eyes, that holding that. That's why we see that it's all happening on the screen. But actually it's using our persistence of vision. So lies that we relating, we think that everything is changing and it's moving, but actually it's a potency of the Lord, Kala Shakti. He is taking everything and he is acting. Otherwise, how things are happening, how the things are moving, how things are annihilating, how things are destroying. And who is that devouring potency? Yes, everything coming from him, the same potency, the Lord manifest in the Kala Shakti or Shiva. That's what is the destruction or devouring potency, or Mahakal or Kala. And then he is absorbing everything. And he only can do that. Nobody else can do that. So this is why it's called Kala Shakti. Kala means Kala or Kala means, it's a devouring potency of the Lord. So we call it as Kalan. Sometimes we call Kalan. Kalan means one who is coming and taking us everything away. Kal. So basically, that Kal, that potency, is the one who maintains, and creations, maintenance, and annihilation in a different ways it happens. It maintains, it stays for some time, isn't it? Who maintains that? Creation happens and maintains for some time. At the same time, it's also disappearing. Where it is disappearing, where it's come from, it all goes back to the same. Right?
Yes, Prabhu. Wonderful, wonderful, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Hemajaganath Prabhu, for such a wonderful class and discussions and such a wonderful questions. So let's conclude then today here, and then we will continue with our book distribution call. And thank you so much for everybody so wonderfully, joining and discussing together. Hare Krishna. So let's chant together. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyevacha padidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavruti ki jai. Kandara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Gauri ki jai. Guru Premanand. Hari Hari. Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
So, thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I would humbly request devotees stay. Let's have book distribution call. Okay. So we see Sanjay, Sankarshan Prabhu, Janagi Mataji, Ashish Karuna Prabhu, Nida Mataji, Devan Prabhu. Wonderful. Very nice. So let's welcome all of you saying Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Okay, Puneet Prabhu, let's begin. Let's start.
Yes, Prabhuji, Dhanva Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you everyone for joining. So, Prabhuji, we would like to go through the agenda for this call. So, we want to talk about the book scores from
Yes.
the books table in the temple, as well as the last Nagar Sankirtan we had in Apna Bazaar.
Yeah.
We would also like to talk about the inventory, which is, work in progress. We are taking the stocks from the container, but in the meantime, we have the, the location where we'll be publishing the inventory going forward.
Yeah.
Also, we want to talk about there was a list of devotees. There was a caller list shared by Neeta Mataji. So we wanted to see if how we're making progress on those, and then again, most important is the distribution plan and the other festival program for the Gaur Purnima coming. So those are the agenda items for this week.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Let's keep that. Yeah. Also, let's welcome Devan Prabhu. Devan Prabhu, thank you for joining. Proji, I think joining first time. Is it?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam. All God, Srila Prabhupada. I think many of you know Devan Prabhu, seen in the temple.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Nida Madaji. Everybody's.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Proji is very wonderful. Very sincerely serving the Lord.
Always serving Prabhuji, yes.
Always serving. I mean, I really appreciate, not for anything. I mean, when I see Prabhuji is doing the service, very wonderful service, sincerely doing. Even though there's children and the family, but very wonderfully doing. Always.
Just following your footstep, Prabhu, just following what all you are just doing, and just doing little bit of what all you have served.
And I really should appreciate Prabhuji. I mean, your service attitude and the selfless, not only just service side, but selflessly doing, that's very appreciative. There are very rare devotees like that, Yes, very focused and very determined and, very selflessly doing the service. Very, really appreciate any service, it's not that just you take any service, you're willing to do any service, anything, it's so wonderful, and not to, you're very focused and to serve the Lord and devotees. That's very, keep it up that, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's all Krishna's mercy. I'm able to serve.
Sure, of course, Krishna, please do such devotees. Then we will do more and more service. Yes. Okay, wonderful. So we have Nida Madaji, we had 108 plus 77 something in the weekend that Lakshmi points.
Yes, Prabhu. So 108 of Nagar Sankirtan and 73 plus there was maybe some around $20 or something on card payment. So maybe you can say 100, around 100 or 90 or something for Sunday feast book distribution.
Sunday means 93 and then 108 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. That means almost 200 and 203 or something. 201 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
200
Also, Neeta Mataji, we had made some deposit in the Sankirtan account on Sunday for 108 also. I don't think that came into the picture yet.
Oh yeah, I think you.
I mentioned in our register.
Chaitanya Charita, right? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that means 301 on this weekend. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. So what we would, everybody please, put that in our book distribution team, that so that whatever the books goes, everything should be there, so that Madaji is putting that in the spreadsheet, right? Madaji, did you start that spreadsheet?
Yes, Prabhuji. I looked into it, but as I said, I had I was not sure because it's month names as columns, so I was not sure how we will put there. So
I see. Maybe we can do one thing. In each month, we can also maybe add 4 columns, like a week, so that 1 week, first week, second week, third week, fourth week. Depends on each month, right? Maybe fifth week. So then we can add that, each week how many Lakshmi points,
Okay, so it's Lakshmi points we are noting, and number of.
Let me share that. Then I think it's maybe easy, right? So everybody can.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
share.
So probably Lakshmi points plus books also counts also we will write, or
Yeah.
okay.
So then let me share that quickly so that yeah. So Drive application. Go to Drive. HG Sankirtan. Yeah. Let me share this one. Where is that? It is good. Okay, HG Sankirtan Google Drive. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, is able to see it?
Yes,
So,
Prabhuji.
so this is the one, right? Yeah. So what we can do? So what books like like Bhagavad Gita right here, right? Just take it. So when you say how many Bhagavad Gita, right? So over here, suppose a count like we can say like yeah, under this one, let's see.
So maybe we can have count and Lakshmi point under each month, Prabhuji, or.
So let me say like this, right? So I can say yeah. This is for, I mean, I would just say that just for an example, let's merge this. Let's merge this. Merge the cells. Okay, so I would say this is for January, right? So this is week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4, right? So like Bhagavad Gita. So in this case, let's take this Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is here, right? And also we can say Lakshmi points, right? Another column we can add. Insert one column left, and Lakshmi points. Okay. Yeah, basically, yeah, of course. And the count is actually here, right? So week 1, how many Lakshmi points or whatever, I mean, the count or the books. And then here at the bottom, we can say the total Lakshmi points, right? So Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, right?
It's gonna be for each book, Prabhuji. I think we would, for every week, we might need 5 to 6 rows will be utilized. Because
Bhagavatam.
unless we do a free form text and just put the books in one cell.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be practical every column, but at least we can say with this like medium books, hardbound books.
Right. It's important we group them also, because otherwise it's.
Yeah, hardbound books, and then what is called small books, medium books.
Right.
Medium books, like small books.
Yeah.
And children books, right? And let's say children books. Then we can say paintings, right? These things, right? Frames, paintings.
But the thing is, I think
Yeah.
this is good. It's just that for the count, Mataji might have to need a count column each time then for each week.
Yeah, for each week or month, whatever we are doing, we have to have count and some like the
Yeah. So then this is what it is, right? So count maybe come here, right? That's a big one. So Bhagavad Gita count week 1, like 10, week 2 15, right? Week 3 20, and week 12 5, right? Week 4 5. So like that, right? So then total Lakshmi points, it's this column here,
Yeah.
right? So whatever it comes over here, and we can add that, right? Week 1, we can also put another column here, number of count and Lakshmi points, inside column left. Okay, so week 1, how does it that goes? Maybe
Yes, Prabhuji. Week 1, Lakshmi points.
points,
Week
right?
1 count.
Week 1,
Yeah.
Lakshmi points, right? And week 1
count.
Week 1 count, like that, right? So then week 2 Lakshmi points, week 2 count, right? So week 3 week 3, yeah, week 2 count. Yeah, so this way, so we can put Lakshmi points and how many, and then whenever there is total Lakshmi points for that one, it's over here, right? It'll come here. So then what is kind of like we can add up like that, like 20, like $10, like $100, Bhagavatam like 301, right? So we go on whatever it is. So then we can have this one like as soon as like we can have the formula sum of D5 to D12, 401, right? So this should be copied to all the other columns like Lakshmi points, like this. Yeah, we can have all the totals here, like we can copy wherever it is, right? So automatically what happens if you do that one, automatically paste in cut, copy, paste using edit menus installed already. You can always use, okay. Yeah, so paste. What is this one?
Just control V and that's fine. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so control V is good, right? Yeah, control V is good, right? So we can have all this up to December, control V. So in this case, what will happen? We'll have the total Lakshmi points and total count and Lakshmi points, right?
Yes.
Total count and Lakshmi points. So this is, we know that Lakshmi points 100, total count. So we'll have, like even if we have a grand total, then we can have the sum of all this, right? The Lakshmi total, grand total of this entire year, grand total Lakshmi points, LAKSHMA, Lakshmi points for the entire year, right?
Yes.
So like that. So then whenever we add here, automatically it updates everything. So it's easy,
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Or Mataji, is it okay or?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. So Prabhuji, when do we need, like I can make this sheet up to date. But this week is very hectic for me. So
No. Whenever. Yeah,
next
that's
week
fine.
is fine, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, yes.
So I'll create all these fields and
Create all these fields and maybe put some nice names, I just put it just like
yeah, sure.
make all this, and so this way, that'll be a wonderful, so that we can say that what is the monthly total, what is yearly total, how many books, so that's very nice. Okay,
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji, I'll do it. Yeah.
very good. Yeah,
Just
and
in a
this,
week or something, I'll do it.
yeah, no
for sure.
problem. Yeah, no
Thank
problem. And that's the same way, Prabhuji. I created this the inventory for that may be another one. Books inventory. Vineet Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. So like this, inventory. This was 2014. Maybe change that and put everything over here, and then it's also like if something is going out, right? So we should have books in books we have. Books is going out, so that way you will also have the count. So you have to reduce that, then grand total should be here. And so whenever books distributed, so automatically we have this total, right? Total number. When you say 10 books are gone, so then it should have remaining books over here, grand total always, right?
Right.
So if you apply that formula, then what will happen? Automatically it will give that complete
Yes, Prabhuji. And I think I'll keep picking it up from Mataji's spreadsheet. So once she updates her sale, the distribution numbers, I will take it up from there and plug them there. Hopefully, that should move. And then anything we order will be added.
So that will be grand total always should be up to date. So anybody looks at it. So this is accessing by our management, right? Temple management. This is our temple SharePoint site. So everybody can access it. So that if anybody looks at it, anybody asks what books we have, how many we have, all will be there.
Right.
Yeah, wonderful. Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Janaki Mataji, Devan Prabhu, anything would like to add?
No, Prabhu, everything good.
Good. Thank you. Okay, and
We can also have a calendar or a schedule for our Nagar Sankirtan.
great,
So because we have
great point.
Because we have like certain locations, so at least
that's
we know
wonderful.
which area when, so we will know how much Lakshmi that day that we went. So that also like a log we can keep for Nagar Sankirtan.
So here in this SharePoint, why don't you Mataji take a spreadsheet and accordingly as per our calendar and the programs? You have our temple calendar, right?
Yes, Prabhu, I have.
Okay, based on that, we should not put anything on especially on weekends. And if it is some festival happens, we should not keep anything on that. Then we should keep it on the next free weekend. So based on that, can you come up with a list of all year that when we can do, and also see that the place and the location that we can do?
Yes, probably. I will look at our previous data where all we have, and then we can plan it accordingly, and then we can also keep a log of Lakshmi and books. Maybe if we.
No, what we need, like like weekly programs, right? Weekly. This week is on this one. This week on this place. This week on this place. This week on this one. So that we will have everybody will have an idea next week where it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right.
So that's like a calendar plan.
It's like a calendar, Sankirtan calendar.
Okay, probably.
Yeah, I think that's a good placeholder, but there might be changes and
there'll be changes.
They will know, and this cannot replace the messages which we send out, right? WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But it's a good starting point and a plan.
Everybody can plan accordingly. Yes, correct.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Very nice. And also, Puneet Prabhuji, please also upload the meeting minutes, right, every week into this
Yes, Prabhu.
SharePoint.
If you can share this location, Prabhuji, that we have, then I will try to come up with something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's. I'm actually. Can you come up with a date first? Then let's discuss in the meeting that this weekly meeting, so we all can discuss and this place is good, things like that. So we can accordingly we can fill up those, right?
Okay, so we need right now the places and the days, right?
Dates actually. Then we can
Dates.
discuss. Yeah. Then let's all discuss together
Okay, okay.
the place because of some place may be good, some place may not be good, right?
Okay, Prabhu. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah. So that is good.
And I will send you also, Janki Mataji, some of the places which we have been earlier and back.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Then it will be easy for us to
Absolutely. I will send that.
allocate. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure.
And Punit Prabhuji, as you were suggesting earlier, if everybody agrees, we can plan some non-Indian place also, right? Similar, Prabhuji? What
Yes,
do you
yes. Yes, yes. Wherever it is applicable and wherever we can go,
Yeah.
Devan Prabhu, do you know any good place that we can go and distribute books?
Indian stores at the Patidal in Hillsborough
Is good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Hillsborough, we were also thinking that one in Hillsborough is very good, I think, seems like.
New Brunswick, and a lot of Indians, like Indian stores are the best place.
Best
Prabhu.
place. Can you send those lists, Prabhuji, to this group?
Sure, Prabhu, yes.
Yeah, so that we can discuss in our next meeting, right? Where we can go and, each week and where we can put accordingly,
In fact, Prabhuji, even Balaji temple, if they permit, we can go and keep the book stall.
No, Prabhuji, we went a few years back. They don't allow us. Because their point is that they have the gift store, the books they have, and they said, if you want, you sell it to the gift store, and then they will sell it.
Yes, but here we are telling we are giving for free for donation, right, Prabhu? It's
But
a different.
they won't allow because of then it will impact their gift store, right? People won't buy it from them. It's all a business game.
So, Prabhuji, if they are ready to buy for their gift store, we can sell at
Oh
discount.
yeah, we did that. We did in the past. We did it for Guruvayurappan temple, and we did it for the Balaji temple also. I mean, then actually devotees were giving maybe like 2-3 months they will give 3-4 boxes of Bhagavad Gita like that. Then devotees were not there, and that devotee had some connection. He left, and in the two temples, basically the Guruvayurappan temple and the Bridgewater temple. I mean, we can try. It's a wonderful.
That is, Prabhuji, we are creating distributors for us, right?
Yeah.
We are at home and they are distributing for us. So it's
Yes.
great if I,
Yes.
even discounted price. So.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Prabhuji, right now something came in my mind. I was just wondering, maybe if I don't know how it works, like in public libraries or whichever county we are, if we can find some public libraries and approach them, their heads or somebody who's interested to keep the books in their philosophy or spiritual sections or areas.
Yeah, we discussed that, Mataji, before. The thing is that, yes, I mean, it costs us, right? I mean, they will not purchase from us. That if some are actually maybe able to keep when there is some demand. Otherwise, if we go and tell them that, okay, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, this book, they may not show any interest, right? They will not display it there, or they will not keep it there. But yes, definitely we can inquire. And, the Bhagavad Gita, many Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad, all, quite well-known books, actually. I mean, maybe like Science of Self-Discovery, Journey to the Journey to the Other Planets, Journey of Self-Discovery, and, Prabhupada Lila Amrita, those books. These are areas then we can, nicely, nicely. Yes, that is an agenda item that we can discuss separately because of that. And there we have to discuss that how we can work it out. You know what I mean?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. The other thing, actually, I also invited Devan Prabhu. Devan Prabhu also, very well in the organizing things. I also wanted Devan Prabhu to take care of our mortal Gitas. Prabhuji can coordinate with Shama Sundar Prabhu and different other devotees. And what do you think, Devan Prabhu?
We can do that, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah.
Mortals, we can start.
Yeah, what else we can start? So, yeah, so that item I would assign to you, Prabhuji. So please make some plans that how we can get the books and mortal list of mortal owners, and we can contact them. I mean, already we have some order from Philadelphia. Somewhere around 300 books or something.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would humbly request Prabhuji, Devan Prabhu, if you can work it like some background work, and how things we can, and also we will get the help from the Vaisheshika Prabhu.
Sure,
In
Prabhu.
that case as well, yeah. So Prabhuji mentioned that if you need any help, they will send us the devotees.
So in the motel, Prabhu, let's say if they have 50 rooms, so they need 50 Bhagavad Gita. So
50
they
bucks.
have to purchase from us, Prabhu.
Some will actually give us money. Some we will sponsor.
Sure, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's these are the metrics, or these are the what is called components that we need to identify whether are they willing to get from us. Indian owners are all they will give us a donation, right? I mean,
Yes, Prabhu.
hotel owners, I mean, they simply want. I mean, they will give us a donation like $1,000, whatever. Whatever the. I mean, we will be giving the soft bound Bhagavad Gita, right? Not the hard bound. So
Yes.
it's called mortal Gita. So that is actually costless actually for us also. So like that may be like $2 or $3, something like that, just individual copies. So if we have some 100 rooms or some motels, it's not that big of a deal, right? If there are some sponsorship, we can have some sponsorship from the congregation. This what is we are going to do. The same concept of the this library. That we can have the list of libraries. That Janagi Mataji or Nida Mataji, if you can work together on that, having a list of libraries in this New Jersey.
Yes. Yes,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
I think I sent you earlier when we discussed the list of all the libraries in New Jersey, public libraries.
You have it, right?
Yeah, I have it, Prabhuji.
Okay.
I sent it.
Oh, you sent it to me?
I sent it earlier. Yes, I can send it to group if you want.
Yeah, in the group. Yes, that's always good, Mataji.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji.
And yeah, so send to the group so that it'll be nice.
Sure.
So that we can also slowly plan. Yes, that and there that needed a good discussion and good amount of I mean, we need to dedicate on that. We have to go and find these libraries, talk to them, and get ready. Get some sponsorship, like that. Not like an overnight thing. Like it may take maybe months. Maybe take 3 months. That's okay. Maybe take a year. That's fine. But slowly, we have to take our baby steps. That's what it is. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. So please come up and let's also plan this weekend action, like a book distribution, where we want to go.
Sure, Prabhu.
Sorry, Proji.
So Patidar, I know in Hillsborough, he's welcoming.
Hillsborough is good, right? Hillsborough is good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's very welcoming. I spoke to owner a couple of times, and we
Wonderful.
kept the bookstall.
Okay. So then why not this weekend, Hillsborough, Patida?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, we
Wonderful.
can do it.
Yeah. So Puneet Prabhu, please send the details out, right, to the teams.
Sure, Prabhuji. When are we doing this? Saturday?
What about yeah? So Saturday or Sunday? Which day? Which day is convenient for everybody?
Only for me, I think that area will be a little far off. So if
Somebody can kick you actually if you join with some devotees.
far off
No.
meaning if it is going more than 30 minutes, then I also then I
Sorry?
feel that okay. If it is going anywhere beyond 30 minutes, then
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes only.
Hillsborough is the area where it is touching 35 sometimes 40 minutes.
No, not there actually. Not there. You know that this is where you know that we have
I
what is
think
called.
all of us have been there, Mataji. You were there last time.
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes, Mataji. It's not beyond.
Anita Mataji was there last time.
Yeah.
If you remember the place, it was on 206.
Yeah, 206 exactly. Yes, not 30.
It's a big store, and actually, it's a really good store. I mean, Devendra Prabhu has a point. It's just that again, depending on all of your convenience to get there, but it's a very good store, big store, and lot of room for standing and distributing book and doing the kirtan. But again, all depends on your convenience and what your plans are for the weekend.
So, Prabhuji, I was thinking if Patidar is good. I have been there. So I was thinking to try some non-Indian this time, if all agrees, because we haven't tried. So is there any scope that we can do something like that, or we should stick to this?
I was thinking maybe Mataji, we can try places like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. Maybe Whole Foods will be also a better store. Costco is good.
Mataji, I think Patidar complex, there is Starbucks there, there is Chipotle there, and lot of some gym and some pet hospital right next to Patidar. So we can even do right in the same complex.
Yeah. That's good. Maybe like 2 devotees here, 2 devotees in the Starbucks, 2 devotees on the pet, clinic, wherever, so that we can spread out. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, Costco, we need to take permission. Costco anymore, like Macy's, Costco, JCPenney, or any mall, we have to take permission. I mean, they have securities there, and if they complain something like that, that's not good.
So in that way, Prabhuji, we can even rent the stall in Mellow Park Mall and the summer carts.
We can start. I mean, we need to get the permission from them. You know what I mean? Usually I mean, we went once in Walmart. They didn't allow us. And I think we went to Mellow Park Mall also. Usually they don't allow, it's anyway, it's a money game, right? We will be so even if we say we distribute, with free of cost, some may allow, but that time we cannot collect any donation or anything, or maybe we can collect donation, but we cannot sell it or kind of, all this logistics are there.
So probably Sunday, okay, because Saturday I might be tied up. What's with the devotee?
Sunday should be fine. Sunday what time?
But band kar tu, please. Band kar.
12 to
2 o'clock?
12 to 2.
12 to 2? I mean 12 to 2 or 12 to 3 or what,
So if we are doing it 12 to 2 or 3, then it will be 2 times. We'll have to plan for temple and for Nagar Sankirtan both.
Then we can go from there to the temple,
Yeah, so then it may be somewhere around 3 to 5, or if we keep like that, then it is more.
Maybe like 1 to 4, something like that.
Yeah, it's good, Prabhuji, but Sunday even I won't be able to join, but it's good if everybody is
so you'll be only on Saturday?
Yeah, Prabhuji,
Sunday. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, let's do it Saturday then. It's fine.
Yeah,
Mataji,
it's Saturday. Yeah, exactly.
I'll manage.
you are not available, right, Prabhuji? Puneet Prabhuji?
Mataji, I'll be, depending on the time. I was actually, there was some work going on in my house, but I'll see, I'll work something out on Saturday. Have somebody.
Maybe towards the evening, maybe good Saturday evening. I may be
It's
also.
gonna be delayed. Saturday.
Evening.
No, I think
Check
it's morning time.
the weather on Saturday, how it is.
Saturday weather
Saturday
seems
it's showing raining 100%, 23 and 53. So it would probably Sunday
Saturday.
is very cold. Sunday is very cold, 20 degrees east and 40 degrees. So Sunday
Saturday
is
is
too cold.
Mataji?
Mataji, showing 100% rain right
Yeah,
now. It may
100% rain,
change.
but it is 51 actually. Temperature is 51. Sunday is sunny. Yeah, 39.
Yeah, the temperature is cold on Sunday, and Saturday it will rain.
Rain.
Depends again. Both the days are not so good weather-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's tricky, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, because raining and I think I'm not sure, but raining, nobody will entertain us. They'll they'll run
No, I
inside
mean,
or.
right? So books, we have to be careful about it.
Yeah, we have to be careful about the books.
Or might spoil the books. So
Yes, ma'am. I think Patidar have the shed where we can keep. There's a shed there right outside, so
It's
we
a,
can
it's,
be inside only.
okay, there is a shade. Yeah.
Yes.
I think let's
So
cancel for this weekend. I think it's gonna be difficult.
Maybe.
Yeah, how about we take a roll call if that's okay. Impromptu if we wanna do it. Otherwise, the chances are looking little bleak.
so, Prabhuji, we can do tentatively 12 to 2 Saturday. If it rains, we can cancel it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's
11 o'clock, we can decide if it's raining.
It's
We can
raining. Yeah.
cancel it.
Yeah. Exactly. Even if sometimes it may be just cloud or something. May not be rain. Yeah. You're right. Let's tentatively keep it. Depends on maybe we don't need to specify the time now because of sometimes maybe rain in the morning, maybe afternoon there won't be any rain or something like that. So probably we can decide that on Friday what timing, but we can put a place, Silbero, if subject to the if there is a rain then we'll cancel, otherwise we'll put it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Wonderful. We covered a lot today. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anything else then?
On the Gold Purnima, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
any special?
Yeah. So we need to have a stall, and we should also pick all our Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and all the books. We should keep it in a table, right? Like Nida Mataji is wonderfully doing that every week. So same way like that, we should keep that table and keep the books there. Thank you, Mataji. Let's also Haribol to Mataji. Wonderfully.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
giving opportunity, that's why Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yes, serving Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such a way that so nice. Yeah.
Weather seems to be good, Prabhu, on the
Saturday.
Holy Saturday. On
For
Thursday.
17th, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Wonderful.
65, 66.